like to invite our esteemed panel members, Prayag Kinariwala, VP Corporate Taxation from Lupin Limited, Rohit Goyal, Director Head of Direct Tax from Siemens, Preeti Gajwani, Head of Tax India, Pakistan and Bangladesh from Mondelez International, CA Giriraj Agiwal, Head of Tax and Finance from Aarti Industries Limited, Hiren Desai, Taxation Head from Tata Power, and this esteemed panel would be moderated by Sabyasachee Dash, Tax Head Corporate Indirect Tax Compliance from GSK Pharmaceuticals India. Please welcome our esteemed panel members and moderator on stage with a huge round of applause.
Hi, good evening everyone. We are not going to bug you with the introductory remark, neither about ourselves nor the topic. So the fag end, I think the hardest thing is to ensure that the people are attentive and they are here in this room immediately post lunch and again towards the end. But I think the whoever got a chance to see the agenda, they know that what we are going to talk about, and the very accomplished panel of speakers, they would sort of share their I won't say that how much realistic or how much anonymous they will make it, it is up to them. They all are mature people, they know what to, I mean, I'm sure they will share some interesting details while holding back some vital thing about the company, because these are our personal reflection. But this is something, this is a subject I think which we all relate to in our daily life. But the tax team supposed to be the first line of defense in the organization they are all part of, and because of the sorry, the evolution in the tax landscape, whether it is GST, I mean regardless of the tax stream, the sense of agility, resilience, the proactiveness, the way we respond not just to the litigation, even the way we want to de-risk our whole thing, I mean the journey of managing our litigation disputes. So the tax I'm sorry, the tax manager or the tax team have assumed a very different role. So it is in this context probably we will try and explore few of the key questions that that we all are interested in our, because it's like an accident, the litigation always you don't preempt. It's in the hindsight we all say that we should have planned for it, we should have provided for it, but that's not how it actually unfolds. We all have experienced that in our own ways. My story can be different from your story, but more or less somewhere there is a bit of common experience in terms of not just the change in regulation, even the officers are becoming, I don't know whether there is any revenue officer here part of this conversation, but they are becoming a little more aggressive. Probably that's the mandate on them, and of course the digital journey, and from both sides. And this is one such area where the government is ahead of the taxpayers, where government has a habit of catching us off guard, and we try and respond, and the learning curves are different for different organizations. So now we quickly land in the most interesting phase that we all, I mean that is the individual question that we will take it and try and respond with the help of all the panelists. Okay, so it's a structured conversation, no doubt, like we all know how a panel conversation happens, but honestly we never spoke even a word as part of our go to panel strategy that this is the answer that I will have for this question. So in that sense you are going to get a very pure, uncensored, uncut response of that person. So in that sense I think probably that will be the gift for you in this evening. So now we just we move to the Q&A session. We start with Prayag. Hi. Part of our briefing we said the skill lies in minimizing the risk, or if not elimination. So the question to you, sir, how can companies proactively minimize the risk of tax dispute before they arise? Because we know there are interplay of different factors, and in the interest of time I am not trying to moderate or breeze, so you can straight respond to your thoughts.
Hello, hi. Recently PwC has published one opinion on tax controversy and dispute resolution mechanism, in which 71% of the respondent has opinion that there is a substantial increase in tax inquiry over last 3 to 5 years. Now this tax inquiry does not turn into disputes. We have to ensure something. So now I can divide this question into two baskets: domestic transaction, international transaction. In case of domestic transaction, whenever you make a claim for a deduction of any expense which is substantial, or when you enter into a new structuring transaction, we have to ensure that your board resolution, your press release, your notes to accounts, everything is properly aligned. If there is something, facts are not properly mentioned in these documents, it might lead to tax disputes. So in our company, there is a policy. All this document, in case of there is an important transaction, it is vetted by tax department. So it helps us to avoid any tax disputes in future. Now in case of international transaction, we try to avoid dispute by entering into APA. Then in European countries, there is a advance ruling is very common. So in case of a subsidiary company in Switzerland, Germany, we enter into advance ruling also, which help us to avoid tax dispute in future. Then now, as you know, there is in the announcement in the budget, there's safe harbor rule also they are amending. So we can take help of safe harbor rules also to avoid a dispute in the future. So by these methods, we try to avoid tax disputes.
We come to Hiren now, and there's a very interesting question again. There's always a thought process that consumes most of the time of the interaction that a tax head and your CEO, and that's around whether we should pursue a particular litigation or we settle it. And there are factors to it, and I'm not trying to preempt your response, so just pardon me, just to set the context. Every case is not. I mean, you can't have a straight jacketing for every case. It has to be seen. Every case is a new case. There are different aspects, like apart from the financial legal merits, you have reputational factors. You have long-term precedent. You have to be a bit measured and calibrated how you want to deal with a particular case. So in that background, so how do you find this? How do you manage this evaluation, that trade-off?
So you are right, Sabyasachee. There are multiple factors, but I think most importantly, you will look at three factors basically. Firstly, you will see that how strong you are in the merits of the case. Means if you go into a litigation, you will need some senior advocate, some advocate to say that, okay, there is a fair bit of chances that you win the case. So first is always how strong you are on the merits. If you have done something, some mistake, and if you feel that, okay, it's not something that you can take it forward, it's better to surrender the case instead of getting into litigation. Second is, of course, the cost-benefit analysis. It should not happen that you get into a litigation which means the cost of the advocate and cost of the compliances is more than what you're going to get. So it's better to surrender such kind of cases. And third, of course, like you said, the timelines that is required. You don't end up paying some 20% whose interest cost is much more, and finally you get it after 10, 20, 25 years. It makes no sense. So I think these three are the important factors, and of course, one of the most important is again reputation. But I think we all come from listed companies, large companies. So in all our cases, such reputational risks are not there. Maybe we make here and there mistake, and that should be taken care when you do a merit evaluation. So that's how I'll deal with my checklist when I decide.
That's good enough. That's a brilliant response. So we come to Preeti, because I've been asked to, not to extend this conversation, but I think as we progress, it will become more interesting. So Preeti, we just come to you. In an organization, tax team, the image of the tax team has undergone a change because of several things. We are not going to, all of us agree with that. So in that sense, our interaction with our internal cross-functional teams have scaled up, exponentially scaled up. Now nobody has to push us to go and speak to somebody. That interaction has become very, very natural. Today you see tax folks, part of a lot of corridor talks. So they are just sitting, their chairs are placed closer to the CEOs, CFOs, which was hardly the case. So Vaishakhi is smiling there. So now, whether it is a data requirement or even our appreciation of the business, because tax team generally they always found comfortable to stay away, become a very passive, indirect consumer of data. Okay, and then we used to say the template that we used to follow maybe 10 years ago, 15 years ago, that he told me this, I didn't know this. So those things don't fly today. So therefore you need to, I mean, you are sort of, there's no other option but to interact, develop a very, very strong working relationship with others. And it is, it's all easier said than done. It's a difficult thing. So how do you ensure in your organization that an effective communication that you are able to maneuver with all your, I mean, with all whom you collaborate?
You've answered half my answer. You've given half my answer, but I think I'll put it very simply to say talk. We all need to go back to offices or be on Teams or whatever it is, the framework in which we are working in present times, and talk to the respective teams. And I think legal, finance, tax need to have some sort of a strong bonding or friendship or whatever, camaraderie one may say. Because these are the core three functions which will, really protect your litigation, your reputation, and everything associated with that. So be in constant touch, speak to folks, advise your teams also to be in engagement with the teams at respective levels, understand what is happening, gather. And I think a lot of things sometimes come to us also as a news, right? It may come to us maybe because we hear it in a town hall or maybe because we've read it somewhere. And in the natural course of our work, we would have never paid attention to it or it may not have come to us. So guide, mentor your teams to pay attention to these details, absorb and see what repercussions it would have. And I'm happy that many of us get seats besides the CEOs and CFOs now. And if nothing else works, then it's a simple email saying that, this is the exposure, this is tax plus interest plus penalty. And you see immediately the data coming in. I think that's the last bit that one needs to use if you're still struggling within organizations to get data.
Superb. Thank you. Rohit. So Rohit said, while everybody is picking up one, I'll answer more than one. Okay, that was on the. So just as a matter of fact, last year June, I think we were sharing this thing panel, and at the end of the panel, probably he would have felt very cheated that he was sharing with somebody who doesn't understand the ABC of the subject, and that was me. So today, with time things have changed, so I have the honor of asking him the question. Many find this is bit academic, but it is not. I'm sure the kind of experience that you represent, you will make your audience far more enriched than they are now with your story. This is on the ADR, the Alternative Dispute Resolution, because that is something not just catching up in terms of popularity, but people are fed up. Though as a country we are known for our inclination towards litigation, whichever way the matter is being decided, that is secondary, but how well my lawyers argued in the court, So that's the country, that's the philosophy that we all believe in. So in that context, I think ADR is something which is being very heavily pushed from both sides. So how, in your experience, how do you find this ADR help companies resolve tax disputes? And as a corollary to this, if you can just share something on MAP, think that how is it sort of getting relief on the cross-border transactions disputes? Yeah.
Thank you, Sabya. So, see, government and basically the finance ministry, including CBDT, they are trying for the non-adversarial tax regime. What it means is bringing more certainty, stability, predictability, etc. for the taxpayers. But we all know that this is a kind of a distant dream. Possibly it may happen one fine day, maybe tomorrow once we have a new tax bill introduced. But right now, that's not the reality. So we as a subsidiary of a German multinational company, operating in more than 200 countries, not 220 as Varun said for DHL, slightly less. But we have operation all around the world, and we significantly have related party transactions which we have like across the board. So generally as a company, our policy is that we are always, trying to look for venues where we can reduce our litigation, trying to resolve these disputes. We are also a listed company in India, so there are a lot of minority shareholders, lot of independent directors, etc. So certainly we are always constantly under pressure to make sure that we don't have much litigation, because everything is end of the day disclosed as a contingent liability. You have SEBI disclosure. The moment you get a new order, you need to report within 24 hours, etc. So we are always at the forefront of doing MAP, advanced pricing agreement, etc. So this is something which we encourage more in our company. And in my 19 years with Siemens so far, if I count like all the group companies and the like I would say publicly listed company Siemens Limited, we have more than 50 years which are included under the MAP and APA. These APAs are bilateral APA. These are unilateral APAs with Germany, with US. And we were one of the first company when Article 9.2 was, Indian government relaxed its stand on Article 9.2, which provides for correlative relief. So we filed for an bilateral APA with Germany. We also have our APAs bilateral with US. And we have a quite a good, I would say, experience around these topics, because though it does take some time, because in company like us where there are significant amount of complexities, things can't be resolved in one meeting. So the Indian Competent Authority, US Competent Authority, US EPMA as they call it, they need to have multiple sitting, and they meet once or twice a year. So generally things get dragged. But having said this, once they come to a conclusion, then you have certainly at least for 9 years in case of an APA, 5-year forward, 4-year rollback. And if you have a map which they agree, then again, it's easier for you, because it sets a precedence. And then once it is done, then the roll forward application is much, much easier. And then it resolves all your dispute from a transfer pricing perspective, at least, which is covered in the APA or map. Then you are left with maybe a corporate tax adjustment, which you possibly litigate or opt for VSV as such. But what we are now also looking for is a safe harbor rule, because like how our finance minister has advocated that this will be more simpler, more pragmatic, etc. Now, if safe harbor basically comes with a percentage of margin, etc., which is more or less in line with your usual assessment, because nowadays even our assessments are more, I would say, realistic, coming with a reasonably good amount of percentage, not like 25, 28 for software development or for distribution, 5, 6, etc. So if those percentage are adopted in safe harbor, even those could be covered. So this is how, we as a group are managing our dispute. And then, of course, now we have block assessment for transfer pricing. So time will tell how this will also pan up. So these are some of the areas. And then, of course, VSV, which is also.
Very good, very good. I think it's a quite meaty response. Giriraj. So with this, it will bring this discussion to a closer, unless there is an audience engagement. Technology. So in your view, how do you, I mean, it is a very, I don't know, I have a hesitation in asking this question. So there is hardly anybody who doesn't use technology. Even for some, Excel might be technology, but that's a technology. So what role does technology play in managing tax disputes and ensuring compliance efficiency? And sir, before my question is not complete. This.
I'm just checking the mic.
Yeah. You need to.
I'm ready or not?
You need to. I think UBS and Westin would have made sure that the mic work. This some interesting anecdote, if you can, not necessarily your company, because that is something what probably would would help us. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. So since morning we are hearing about the technology and everything, and I'm 100% sure everybody is expert in a technology, and everybody is looking to all these fancy presentations, think that yes, this is something which suits to me. Let me tell you, this journey starts in our organization 3 years back, where we did a finance transformation, the tax transformation. The important thing, the first thing which any corporate will have to look forward is that, are we really ready to adapt this technology or not? Because these softwares, not the off-the-shelf software that you just go plug and they start delivering the data to you or start delivering the resulting outputs what you are looking for. Give you an example. In GST, everyone is now facing the audits and assessment which is going on. And I'm sure 100% that most of the people have a multi-state registrations, where when you are traveling to Gujarat, might be Maharashtra officer might be calling you when you are coming to submit this information, and maybe somewhere in other state will be asking, because everyone has a time barred date on the same month they are closing with. Let me tell you, at this point of time, the most important role which technology plays for you is that repository of the data, which you normally, people, when they file the return, they just forget about the things and they think, okay, when the audit will come, we will look at that point of time. We as an organization has really put an efforts where we created a repository of the data at the time when we file our annual returns. Now, giving a small example that if my officer is asking me the information to provide me reconciliations or whatever it may be, let me tell you, in a span of 2 days time, we are able to reproduce that information. It is only because of the reason that this proactive thought that what is the information that my officer is looking from me at that point out, that is my data. And I have enough privity to that data and I am ready for this information to be provided. Giving you one more example, in the customs, now as you are aware of that, a lot of things has come into the custom, maybe as an FT8, AOT2, drawback, store tab, so many things are there. We did a small change in our entire supply chain system where the moment any order came, the person who is sitting in a procurement team or maybe in a marketing team, when he enters the basic information, our system is that robust enough that will provide that what is that with what are the benefit which is associated with HSN code. If I am going to export in this country, what is the benefit available to me? Am I able to take this FTA benefit or not? At the same time, what is that restrictions which has been put on my products? If that level of granularity, if you go, and really I'm telling you this has saved a lot of money for an organization where we know, giving a small example, South Korea. South Korea, if you are an AOT2 in India, South Korea will give you much benefit than what India is giving to you. This is how the technology play a vital role in your compliances, supply chain, and sometimes you're not even aware that what benefit that you're losing out, because the people who are sitting and preparing the bill of entry, they are not professionals. The people who are sitting in the procurement, they are not chartered accountants. But when they know the system, that this system is going to give me those vital information, simply I'll tell you the QCO certificate. This certificate has been asked by the custom before clearances. And most of the company, I'm betting you that when they have got a assignment stuck at the custom, then they will go and apply for the QCO amendment in their license or wherever it is. My only request to all the things is that when you do a transformation or a technology transformation in your company, all companies who are providing this software is good, provided that whether it suits to your requirement or not. Because each and every company has its own challenges, its own practical difficulties. And this is the way we have came along the way, 4 years transformation that we did. Our organization is facing that transformation from very compliances, I can say from a 5 to 6 scale, we came to the 8 and 9 scales, and sometimes the data which has been asked by the department, we are ready with this information on a real-time basis. So this is how you have to look forward and you have to work upon the technology that will suits to your requirement. This is all from my side.
Very comprehensive. Thank you so much. I think we are done with the mandate. So if anyone is willing to ask any questions, so you are most welcome.
Hi all, thank you for the lovely session. Lot of insight, lot of inputs, and Sabyasachee was like a wonderful moderator who was handling and all.
Thank you.
So thank you for the critical input. So I would like to have 2 questions from the 2 panelists. One, Giriraj, because of the custom angle you said, and one Preeti. So my first question to Giriraj is that you talk about custom and if you inbuilt in the software, HSN code and all, but it helps. But do you think it end the journey? Because over here we have to opine on HSN code also. We can't accept vendor HSN code as final. Or if we have to take the FTA benefit, now there's a Karotar rule which prescribes 10 documents, not only the certificate of origin. So, but these things we can't leave on to the operation team. They have to connect to tax. It or a legal if it is falling under legal. Yes, technology could help, but like what percentage technology have helped in because of these changes? 40, 50%, or what is your thought?
Yeah. So basically, to the extent what I understand your question is that, yes, there is a fallback upon professionals who are sitting in an organization. But let me ask you one simple question. The people who are sitting at an execution level, are they really aware of what is been happening around the world? They are just morning 9 to 6 job they are doing. Even I have seen that cases where the person who is making a shipping bill with a rod tab, making a yes in the one shipping bill, and the same time in another shipping bill with a real-time basis, he is putting no over there. So the point what you are bringing on it is that, what I wanted to bring on a table is that when you have a very integrated system, like the person who is moving ahead in the entire supply chain should have a, what I can say is that should have a, maybe some inputs who is coming from a system that this is something which you have to be aware of. If you are not aware of the, please go and check to the tax team that this is the document that we are requiring. I'm saying 100% won't be replaceable, but let me tell you, this is going to help you to efficiently compliance, can increase the efficiency in the compliance that you are doing rather than doing a post-mortem of the things. And let me tell you one very simple example of a PBA audit. I don't know anyone has got a PBA audit notice from a customer or not. Let me tell you, this is one of the notice, if any person will get, it will be a nightmare. The amount of the data and the information they have been seeking for. Since 4 years, we are been giving them the data, but still every now and then the information is being changed, and every time the information is being asked in a very, very detailed manner. And I'm telling you, it is a nightmare for anyone who is going to get a PBA notice. It's a premise-based audit notice, which has been given by the customs. And they will check each and everything. Even a single bill of entry, if I am filing 10,000 bill of entries, they are asking me to give me information of all 10,000 bill of entries with HSN code, with the notification, with anti-dumping duty detail, with all the benefit that you have taken till date, with reconciliation with the books, and giving me one more idea to that, they have an access of huge amount of information, even you cannot even think of. So I'm saying you cannot go to that level, but at least you can be readiness with the information that they are seeking down the lane in the future.
Yeah, so on premise-based audit also, your software is capable to give you this report.
Yeah, so this information, what they have been asking, let me tell you, until unless your system is robust enough, you will not be able to comply with the requirement what they have been asking for. My team, my indirect tax head is sitting over here behind, and let me tell you, it's a nightmare for us to handle this PB audit. And fortunately, we have been able to close in 3 years. 3 commissioner has got changed, and the audit is still continuing.
Okay.
So this is the data that they are sitting on. They are asking you the information.
Understood. Clear basis. Your live example, like it was made more interesting and more appealing. Yeah. So my question to Preeti is on transfer pricing, because as you know, we have been interacting on some common issues, but this is the first time that when we got some adjustment, and that's why I thought that I will take opportunity to take your views. So see, we know that, okay, if the order get passed, we have the option, in transfer pricing, we have the option of DRP, MAP, and then commissioner appeal route and all. So have you analyzed that to what extent DRP or commissioner appeal have the power to enhance the demand? Can they get into another topic which AO has not touched? Or, they will restrict themselves to the points which got confirmed or the heads which got confirmed? Or they can get altogether new ground? Like, can you throw some light on power of enhancement?
I believe they can. I wish they don't. So I think to keep it short and simple, while we all are aware of those exposures, it's then for us to now navigate with the authorities as to how do we tackle it strategically, or by insisting on them focusing only on things which they ought to see. I think then it becomes more of how do we, really represent. And there it plays a lot of role in terms of possibly if we are representing ourselves, then how do we really wade our conversations with the authorities? If we have consultants, then let's be very clear and candid with them in terms of how they have to conduct it. If need be, go along with them. I think it's all upon how do we really, strategize, because these open exposures and these open points which always sit and trouble our mind as to what they can go beyond will always be there. And I think that's precisely what is the value add that we do to the companies.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Preeti.
We close it.
Any other question? We can take one last before closing. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Any closing remarks?
Oh, sure. Because I'm more scared of Rahul. So he just, I'm getting disturbed. Okay, I think you all collectively have scared us enough. People like us, people like me who are fence sitter. So once in a blue moon we think whether tax is the space to stay on or we can explore something else. I think this is going to be a fertile area where we can all have very active engagement. More chaos, I'm not referring to that we're going to fish in the troubled water, but I think there are enough activities that's going to get us consumed. So in the way there's a silver lining always. There are challenges, so are the opportunities. I think we all have learning, exposure, that's all one part. Keeping your job safe, job security is also, that's what is very important. So with this note, we will wrap it up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Please have a huge round of applause for all of them.